button. Alright. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid2. Joining me today is...
And, hi, I'm that Matt Kid.
And I'm a geek for fun.
Yay! And today we're doing a special episode. We're going to be doing a Let's Play, which we don't do often on here because I suck at video games. And Alfie, what game are we going to be Let's Playing today?
Well, any eagle-eyed video game historians, or people of culture really, may be able to see the magnificence on the screen, right? The majesty, it almost beckons me to say its name immediately. The gospel work that is Sonic R.
Yeah!
Yep. Oh, so I gotta be honest, this is actually my personal, guilty pleasure favorite Sonic game.
Is it really?
I don't know. Yeah, it really is. This was the very first Sonic game I was ever actually able to beat on my own.
Oh my god.
Yeah! I have this Sega Saturn and everything. So this is something I've got just, fond memories of. And it's also very bad.
It's, yeah.
I mean, give it time, and I think you'll figure it out real quick. But
Yeah.
just look at how. Okay, so
It controls like
at that
ass, first
turn.
of all.
yeah, there's that.
It's just, so this game was, it was one of Sonic's big first forays into 3D. You had, Sonic 3D Blast, which was developed by the same folks who did this, because this is actually, most of the legwork here for this game is being done by Traveler's Tales, who people would know from the Lego games. This is mostly them, and the tech behind this game and, the graphics and stuff is actually really, really good for the time. But the controls, the balancing of the character roster, all of that is garbage. And this game is extraordinarily difficult to get anywhere halfway decent at.
Yeah. And by the way, this is gonna be 100% run. So. Yeah, this game just you're all over the course. It's very non-intuitive, and it's very dated. If you look at this background right now, this purplish background, you see and the loading screen too. You see how it's waving like a flag? It's just they're ooh, we can do 3D stuff, and they just everywhere it's there, and it's so unprofessional in its execution because of that. It's everything is so amazed with what they could do that they didn't think whether or not they should do it, and things just start to get really, really bad.
I feel like that's 3D Sonic in a nutshell.
I mean...
Says the probably biggest Sonic fan on this phone call. Skype call, whatever.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight between Alfie and Matt. Okay, so here's my favorite glitch. There's no backup button, so when you run into a wall, you just have to slowly
The fastest
turn
finger line.
until you can get going again. That's... Yep, just slowly working on that turn. And then there's just ridiculous shortcuts. I meant to mention it in the first level, but don't worry, we'll get there again. You don't have to go through the loop-de-loop, and in fact going through the loop-de-loop right before the finish line is slower than just going around it, which is just really bad design.
Well, this comes out in around about 97. I don't know when the first Mario Kart comes out, but this came out in 97, and got weirdly positive reviews. And then most people were exposed to it when it was re-released on the Sonic Gems collection, but I don't...
Which is what I'm playing it on here.
Yeah. Now, I'm not immediately sure when the first Mario Kart came out, though, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that was also that was I believe an SNES game or an NES game. It was 2D, attempting to do a racing kart game. And this wasn't Sonic's first attempt at trying to mimic that, because there had been Sonic Kart Racing or Sonic Drift. Yeah, that was it was called. It was Sonic Drift, and that was Sega's attempt. That was Sega's attempt to, like, as you've probably noticed from this, Ruben, these are just the characters running. That was just straight up Sonic in a car racing, like direct Mario Kart ripoff. This was their attempt at kind of ingeniously, and like the kind of bittersweet thing about this game is this is the best idea for a Sonic racing game yet. It's just you have these characters in a video game franchise where all of them by necessity are fast as fuck. So why don't, if you're gonna make a racing game, you don't need the cars. Like every other video game franchise has them because their video game characters aren't as fast as cars. Sonic is the one example, and no, they're way faster than cars.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, like it is legitimately my favorite Sonic racing game in concept, and like all the Sonic Racing Transformed games and all that stuff. It's not the same, and like I guess I'll give them a little bit of credit that they're like clever enough to come up with a good justification for it, which is, oh well, Sonic uses a car because he wants to be fair.
Yeah.
He knows he'd win if it was just a foot race. And I'm like, I guess, but at the same time, you can work that out by just balancing the goddamn power-ups. And there's like cool ideas for power-ups in this game. There's like an electric shield that just brings rings towards you, and that's kind of a cool idea. There's, you know, the introduction of the mecha characters as the game goes on. This Chaos Emerald grabbing stuff is absolute bullshit, by the way. It's so fucking hard, because you have to win the race in first to keep the Chaos Emeralds. Says Obama. Oh, and there's a replay feature, which is, I guess, again, just it's them trying to flex when they really, you know, they went to the gym for like a week.
I mean, he was always Eggman in the original Japanese release. Robotnik was like an American thing. And so they've made the attempt to make him Eggman, starting with like the adventure games, because in Adventure 1 he still calls himself Robotnik, but Sonic calls him Eggman as a joke. And then they just kind of drop that by the time you get to Adventure 2, and he's just kind of Eggman. So I don't know. I go with Eggman. Alfie, what do you think?
Yeah, like you say, me and Ian had like a whole diatribe about which one we should call him, and we kind of like landed on the side as Robotnik's just a better name.
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, I always liked the idea that, you know, Robotnik was his real name and Eggman's just kind of a moniker, which is, I guess, I don't know if that's ever been established in the games or if that's just something that was born from the Archieverse that just has worked its way into the games, but Robotnik is definitely the more threatening name, but Eggman has also been played for laughs for the past several years, so I don't know if that really fits him or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think fans just like to complain about it and fight each other more than they actually care.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I tend to not really think about it all that much anymore. But I do tend to go with Robotnik. Fun fact: this is the first game where you could ever play as Dr. Robotnik, not counting the Mean Bean Machine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, I love how the water works. It's actually faster sometimes to go through the water, but I love
this
that
game.
so much.
So
look how slow the turn
this
is.
game's so interesting to me because like my favorite kart racer growing up as a kid was Crash Team Racing, and that was a game that had like tons of shortcuts. When you look at the mini map of this game, like the sheer number of shortcuts is insane, and I think that's actually really cool because that's like classic Sonic level design. Like if you play like a 2D Sonic game, there's a bunch of different hidden paths, there's a bunch of alternate routes, so I think it's really neat that in developing the levels for this game they would put a real huge heavy emphasis on like hidden routes to get places.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I actually also really like the way a lot of the routes are unlocked by collecting rings. I think that's a cool way to work the rings into the game. But at the same time, it's a little unfair that once you open the gate, everyone can use it. That's kind of some bullshit. Like, you worked so hard for those rings, and then someone else could just, use the gate. So yeah, this is just... I do this a lot, where I just was really trying to grind some of these levels to get an understanding of how to control the game, because I'm all over the goddamn track right now.
It's one of those things where you have to learn to use the brokenness.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. So right now I'm really trying to go all over the place. This level is actually kind of the bane of my existence because I kept forgetting how many Chaos Emeralds were in it. And so there's like a good 20 minutes of the gameplay footage that I cut out because I just went back to every level looking for that last damn Chaos Emerald. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a texture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like early, trying to save hardware power and texture mapping. So this level in particular has so many invisible walls, it gets really frustrating because, like, technically I should be able to jump some of these guardrails and really save myself some time, but... and apparently Sonic has a spin dash, which I didn't know about, and that's kind of annoying. And I can't figure out how to get out of it. But yeah, like, some of these invisible walls are just pointless because I should just be able to jump the guardrail, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. It's just one of the just really unpolished things. This is very obviously one of the early 3D kind of games.
Yeah.
I will say though, in its defense, I think the models here are actually like the character models. I think they're actually quite nice for like. Probably, correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, but this was like, excluding Flicky's Island, like the first attempt to bring the character designs of Sonic into 3D. And I think they do a pretty good job here for what they're doing.
Yeah, so I mean, Sonic 3D Blast, which is the game with all the flickies, drastically different look than this. It's like isometric. It's not really fully 3D in the same way that this is. These are the same character models, I believe, that are used in Sonic Jam, which also came out for the Saturn around about the same time. And that game was really neat because it was a compilation of the original, Sonic 1 through 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, but there was this like 3D overworld that you could run around, and so it's like, oh, if you want to go play this game, you can like physically run over to where you're supposed to play it. And so it's kind of the same models, but then they only had Tails and Sonic for that, I believe. So, these models are all pretty solid, and they would have been invented specifically for this game and Sonic Jam.
Yeah, and I think the models are alright, again, for the time. We haven't gotten to the Tails doll yet. And then there's just jump in the water. I do like, again, some of the design aspects, some of the ideas for how this should be balanced are actually kind of cool. Like, Robotnik and Amy have missiles that they shoot, and so does one of the other characters that I even forgot was in the game. And then, there's cool balance things. It's just, it's not quite right. So like when you fall in the water, you lose any shields or power-ups you have, and that's kind of a cool idea, but again, they just don't do a very good job of, of giving you enough to really do with that. It's like, okay, that one occasion where that happens, and again, this is 100% playthrough, guys, and it's an hour and 48 minutes. That's kind of a short-ass game.
Yeah, I think you hit on something earlier that kind of made me look at this in a new light, because I've always played devil's advocate when it comes to Sonic racing games. I'm just like, well, no, they all need to be on hoverboards, or they all need to be on cars, because otherwise Sonic would literally win every single race, because even though they all have super speed, if you're looking at the game from like a fucking Sonic lore perspective, which I'm probably one of 5 people who does that, Sonic would still win because he'd still be faster than all of them. But you're right that if you balance it out in such a way where different people get, you know, better items than him and can use that, and I'm kind of reminded of, like, did you ever play like the 2-player racing mode from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle?
Yes.
So like in that, Metal Sonic was faster than literally everyone. But he couldn't use like the chaos powers, whereas like Amy was literally slower than everyone else, but she could use powers at a much lower ring count. So like when I play with my wife in that game, she'll pick Amy and she will destroy me every time, because if you know what you're doing, even though you're a slower character, you can take advantage of those like abilities. So I looking at it that way, I would really like to see another attempt at something like this.
Because especially...
Again, there's... no, go ahead.
Because especially you lean into that, because Sonic's always been a franchise that's like, when it's at its best with multiple characters, and I'm like specifically like 2D or even the early adventure games, is they're all basically Sonic but with extra shit. And I think that works perfectly for a racing game roster. Is you have Sonic be your Ryu in, like, as you Street Fighter kind of terms, where he's the base model, he's the fast character in racing game. You build the game around Sonic. And then when you go to balance out your other characters, you think, okay, so they maybe will tone down the speed on everyone else a tad. Not to the extent where it's literally broken, but to the extent where it's noticeable. And then you highlight other things as, okay, well, maybe Tails can fly for a short time, and he can go over obstacles that Sonic couldn't, so you get shortcuts.
Yeah.
Knuckles can punch through shit, and like he can go through, or glide, or even climb even, depending how you do it. Robotnik can throw out...
Knuckles is so fucking broken.
There's so many things you can do with that formula, where I feel like, kind of, I can totally see where you're coming from with like the lore aspect, and Sega kind of does that a lot to themselves too. But I think you're just hampering yourself for no reason, where there are workarounds.
I agree, and I mean it's a vague tangent, but like a lot of my perception of Sonic is colored by the Archie comics.
Invisible wall.
Yeah, that's annoying. Because when you look back, it's okay. It's okay. Sonic can't swim, so he'll just drown, and then. But like looking at the original games, like in reality, you know, all the other characters, they were about the same speed. You know, Knuckles was slightly slower, but for the most part, they all moved the same way. It's only been in more recent things where we've kind of established that they're all way slower than Sonic is. But it's funny though, because even in like Sonic Riders, they introduced like, you have speed characters, you have power characters, you have flying characters, and so they can all take different types of shortcuts in the level, in like Sonic Riders, which was the hoverboard game, and that's stuck around. Even in the newest Sonic Kart Racer that just came out, Team Sonic Racing, they still have that. Like you have like your 3-person team has to be composed of a speed character, a power character, and like a flight type character. So like I think that's something that could be translated again into a game where we actually take advantage of the fact that most of them are very fast characters and just put them on foot, except for maybe, you know, Eggman, who would have to be in a vehicle.
Yeah, I just want to point out real quick, I didn't even notice it while I was playing, but apparently the water shield lets you run on the water for a short time as opposed to getting slowed down slightly under the water. I just saw that happen. I was like, oh, neat. I also like how he just fucking like teleports on the land. That's kind of my favorite. Like he doesn't even like come out of the water; he just like rises.
He's like
right
he's
out
got
of the ground. It's kind of amazing.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to collect... I was really trying to not play through the same levels too many times and just like, alright, if I can get the Chaos Emeralds in one go, and then I can go through again and get the coins to unlock the secret characters, but...
It's so demoralizing.
Oh boy,
it's just like, you got no emeralds. It's like,
I know,
right,
it's
geez.
like, It's such a throwback, isn't it? It's like fucking Robotnik juggling those things in your face. So like so I was kind of really trying to do better, and then I realized, you know what, Sonic's fucking trash in this game. Let's get a broken character, and I knew which character I would unlock if I could get all the coins in this level. So I played this level a couple times, grinding it until I can get Metal Knuckles unlocked, and then he's pretty much
strategy,
my main.
I say.
Yeah.
There's stuck on the door. Stuck on the door.
This game. Oh, I was gonna say that, yeah, this game attempts to do some level of balancing, but in reality, this game is broken as all get out when it comes to, like, just Metal Knuckles, Metal Sonic, and then obviously when you get, like, Super Sonic, like, are just completely head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I will give it a little bit of credit. If you decide to race as Amy and you've got all the other characters unlocked, the AI will be nice to you, and it will like not pit you against Super Sonic and Metal Sonic and all that shit. It'll be nice to you, and it'll like pit you against the standard crew you've got right now. But if you do decide, all right, I want to play as Super Sonic, then it does actually provide you a challenge and pits you against Metal Sonic and Metal Knuckles and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's actually reasonable to me. That's, you know, again, it's one of those things where execution's pretty much a failure here, by and large, but the concept was there, and I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure this was just one of those Sonic games where it was rushed out like a year before it was supposed to be.
That's just the history
like
of the
so
franchise.
many other Sonic games.
Yep.
I know, it's like, oh, well, Christmas is coming up, we really gotta release that new Sonic game. We started it like last week. We gotta release that new Sonic game!
Oh, God.
Oh, I am so excited.
Oh, my God.
Midnight showing. I'm going to the midnight showing. I'm buying the collector's edition on Blu-ray. I'm getting original CGI Sonic tattooed on my body. Giant back canvas.
Swear to God. The only thing that will get me to go see that movie in theaters is if Ian wants me to come on and talk about it, and then I have to go see it. But, oh my God, I'm not looking for...
Hey, Matt. Hey, Matt.
Yeah? What's up, Ian?
You want to come on and talk about the Sonic movie when it comes out in theaters?
Boy, don't I? Yes, obviously. Marsden.
Stuck in the corner.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go.
Congratulations.
I hope you guys like this level and the Work It Out song, because, man, you're going to see it
Well,
many more times.
you know, it's a Sonic game, so it's gonna have great music, so I don't mind listening.
All right, well, let's talk about that, because that's probably the other main thing that's known about this game is the music. And I gotta say, Sonic R has a just beautiful soundtrack.
It does.
It has no place being in a goddamn racing game whatsoever. It is so unfitting the mood of what you are doing.
Yeah, no, not at all. A big thing that always, like, really interests me with Sonic games is, like, what elements of that specific weird Sonic game would go on to have some larger impact, either in the fandom or in the Archie comics. You know, in the case of Sonic the Fighters, it was Bean the Dynamite and Bark the Polar Bear becoming, like, actual really fun characters in the comics. For this, it's Can You Feel the Sunshine and the fucking creepy-ass Tails doll are, like, the big Sonic fandom things that people know about this game, is, like, the out-of-place music and then the, like, creepypasta stuff with the Tails doll, which I love all that stuff. But all the music in this is just really glorious 90s fun, happy, cheery pop music, and I don't know why it's here.
It's so good and so unfitting all at the same time. Like, can you imagine if they did that with, like, a Mario game? It would be so weird.
It would be really weird. Well, I mean, didn't they do for Mario Odyssey? Didn't they have like the jump superstar or whatever that song was? Like that's almost kind of something similar in that it doesn't really.
But like, yeah, but at the same time, it's got the Odyssey element,
Yeah.
and it's sung by a character in the game.
That's true.
You know, that's the thing that kind of makes it justified. Whereas this, it's like, you know, work it out, talk about it, and like so many of these songs have a very romantic subtext. I feel like the singer, whoever she is, you know, I feel like she just had an album that she couldn't get produced for whatever reason. And they're like, if you just make us a supersonic racing song, we'll put your music in this game and release it properly. Because everything.
Oh, even that was a coincidence. She was actually dating Sonic, and then when it fell through, he managed to get it in her in the game. But the supersonic racing was actually a heartbrow like melody.
I see.
I believe that.
Me neither.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how much this music has stuck around. There's a fan film called Sonic Prologue, and they do a cover of the song Back in Time, since it's set as like kind of a prequel thing. And they like changed up the lyrics to make it fit the story a little bit more. And I was like, wow, that you could have just made an original song, but you chose this of all things. Fifth. Getting those coins. No, do not look it up yet. Wait till you get to see it in the game, because I promise I do get there.
Yay! I cannot wait to just talk about Tails Doll nonstop, and I'm looking forward to it. Tails Doll is one of the big things that is, because this game introduced Metal Knuckles and Tails Doll, and it's just funny to me how it's like, yeah, like Sonic, he gets Metal Sonic, who's super awesome, and Knuckles gets Metal Knuckles because he's super awesome, and then Tails just gets like fucking Tails Doll because
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best creep. It's always like Tails Doll and Sonic.exe, right?
Yes.
Those two are always hanging out together.
Yep.
And it's weird because they have nothing to do with each other.
No, not remotely. But that's a side of the fan community that I adore somewhat, ironically, but I do love that stuff. And yeah, they're always associated, but never. I don't think I'm sure someone's written like the crossover creepypasta. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. If they haven't, then Alfie, get on that shit.
Why me?
I don't know. Actually, you know what? You're right. Matt is known as the Sonic erotic fanfiction writer. So, Matt, I need you to go
hold on. You didn't say anything about erotic. Now I'm in. I thought you were gonna make me write a regular, boring-ass creepypasta where someone gets knifed. If someone's going down on Tails Doll, I need to be the one to script that, okay? I want an audio drama, I want you all in the cast, and we're gonna make it happen.
That sounds delightful.
Okay? So let's just clear that.
Can
before
Ruben
there's
play
any-
Tails Doll and just like not do a voice at all? Just totally Ruben's like, I'm here as Tails Doll.
Like, get some guy off the street, you pay like $10 to just walk in, and he doesn't know what it's about, and he's just like really lazily, half-drunkenly reading the lines.
That's kind of what I want to do. Yeah. Yep.
I need to.
Like, you know, I had to use Fiverr for my audio drama for a little something, and I really want to like push people's buttons and see how much ridiculous shit I can get someone to do. Like, what is the minimum price I can pay for someone to draw me some really fucking creepy Sonic fan art?
I mean, back in the day, like if you're talking early 2000s, like probably like $0 because they would just fucking do it for free as long as you pimp out their DeviantArt account. Nowadays, I don't know. The Sonic fan community is still weirdly very active, but not nearly to the same level that they used to be.
I know. You're totally right. I just what uncomfortable shit can I get someone to do on Fiverr for like literally $5? Give them as much time as they need. But all right, here we go. Metal Knuckles.
Oh yes.
Prepare to challenge.
I love Metal Knuckles.
Okay, so he only exists in this game. Unless Matt knows something about him appearing in, like, the Archie comics or something.
There's a... generally in the comics, if a character has been roboticized, they are mecha, whatever that character. So there is a mecha Knuckles. But if they are a robotic facsimile, they are a metal. So you have Metal Sonic and Metal Knuckles. But Metal Knuckles has only shown up in this.
Yeah, he's never been in... literally never in anything else, which is... kind of a damn shame, because it is a fucking sick design.
It's super sick. I love it.
Which I'm glad, because you'll be seeing that for the majority of the rest of the Let's Play. But, yeah, so like he's never existed in anything else, but as far as Metal Sonic goes, since that is an actual character, it's Robotnik made a robot Sonic to defeat Sonic. Which is interesting because there's kind of an evolution of Metal Sonic throughout the games.
Yep.
They just kind of botch it a little bit because is it Sonic 1 where you fight the Silver Sonic?
Yes.
It is Sonic 2. Okay. Yeah, one of the last bosses in Sonic 2 is like a early version of a Metal Sonic. Mm-hmm. And then you get, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you get Super Mecha Sonic or something like that. It's kind of cool. It's neat. And then in Sonic CD, you finally get Metal Sonic, and he's like the perfect version of it. But Sonic CD is a prequel to Sonic 2.
You also get...
So the timeline doesn't work.
I think Metal Sonic... This is the only Sonic game I've never played, but I also believe Metal Sonic is one of the big antagonistic forces in Knuckles Chaotix, but that game has never been re-released, and unless you want to buy the 32X add-on or whatever for the Sega Genesis, you're not gonna get to play it. So I believe he's also in that.
Yeah. Alright, now finally I got a character that you can actually do stuff with because he is outrageously broken. And it's not that they don't have characters that kind of balance Metal Knuckles, but because I haven't unlocked any of them yet, I can play through the rest of the game, and it's just fine. He just outclasses everyone else. Alright, check this out. See?
Gee willikers.
Just immediately.
Yep.
Oh man.
I know, and it gets worse because he can also glide.
Oh my god.
For longer than Knuckles, to the point where it's just basically flight.
Now I need to ask this question, and anyone here be thrilled to answer this. How could someone made of metal glide longer than someone not metal?
Because he's got a jet engine.
Oh!
Your argument is invalid.
But Knuckles has a forehead penis. Surely that should give him some kind of aerodynamic powers.
You'd think so. You would think. Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm just look at the fucking map.
Oh
the closest ones are Sonic and Knuckles, and look how much of a lead I've got over them right now. That is ridiculous, and I'm still playing pretty badly.
You know, it's funny though, because you can get on YouTube and you can watch long plays of this video or of this game where they 100% the game in a half hour or whatever, and even people who are really good at this game, when you actually watch them play, it still looks like absolute nonsense is going on. It's the controls are so funky that you can watch someone being really bad and someone really good, and it doesn't look all that dissimilar.
I know. Alright, there's the glide.
Oh my god. Get some hang time. Dude, are you lapping Sonic right now?
I'm pretty sure I just did,
oh,
yeah.
Frick.
I like how he just sticks his arms out like a fucking bird.
He T-poses to fly. They didn't finish animating that. They just got the model, they had the idea, and they were like, ship it.
Game comes out tomorrow. Come on. Fuck your artistic integrity. This is a
He
Sonic
really
game.
does. Like he
Artistic integrity. Sonic.
he goes like full spread eagle when he jumps. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah.
good. Oh my god. I really wish
Now, Rube,
they would bring this character back.
And I still somehow lost because I was really trying to collect those damn Chaos Emeralds.
that's also just because, like, come on, Ian. Like, you're obviously not giving your A game here. This game.
I know. I'm really trash.
I'm waiting for you to step it up.
I'm sorry, Alfie. Can
Come
you ever,
on, step
can
up.
you ever forgive? You're too slow. Yeah, no, Ruben, this is 100% run. We're doing it.
We are here for as
There's-
long as it takes for Ian to 100% this game.
Which is an hour and 48 minutes.
Ruben grits teeth angrily. Ruben, what you need to do, either sometime, just generally, is just type in your name, the Hedgehog, and you will find a fan art of your Hedgehog persona.
No, but that sounds beautiful.
Isn't that what?
Shadow's his
Isn't-
dad.
Yeah, I thought that was the one where it's like Shadow and Shrek are a couple, and Shrek is pregnant, and they already have a child, and it's SpongeBob. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the one. Oh,
Well, I know Tom King was going to say City of Bane was getting intense, but I never expected this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I just don't know what goes on with the Sonic fan base and why it's so weird. I don't know what happened.
magical place, Ian. It's a
Well-
magical place.
It comes from a place where, like, okay, like if you're going to try and actually find the way, like, even Ruben, you'd be the most non...
Do you know the way?
Do you know the way? Like, even that's part of it. This gold mine of just human potential. Like, Ruben, you're the most, like, non-Sonic aware, Sonic indoctrinated, innocent human being here. And, like, even you can tell just from these, like, character designs, like, would you say the look of Sonic is, like, cool for a video game character? Especially compared to someone like Mario. And that's like where the majority of that I think comes from, is just Sonic's got really good design philosophy, and like animal characters and that kind of idea normally breeds fan bases which are more, because it's seen as kind of different than the norm, it makes people I guess drift towards seeing themselves as different. Not necessarily in a bad sense, but more like special, because, oh, Sonic's the cool one, he's the cool kid. And a lot of, like, kids relate to that as just like, oh, I want to be like Sonic, he's the one, he's the cool. Like, especially when you're really, really, really young and impressionable. He's got that kind of factor. And then as kids start maturing and they get into, like, their weird, like, puberty hits them and all these feelings and they don't know what to do, a lot of them are just left with like expressing themselves with different ways, and they normally, the Sonic fan base latched onto Sonic for that, because here you have a franchise, I'm just going to say some things, Ruben, that will seem like incoherent nonsense, but they're all from the exact same video game series. There is a planet made of sweets, and then an evil scientist was hired by the government whose daughter got shot in the face because he was creating something that would cure cancer. And also there are robots that have like cute animals inside of them. This is all the same thing. This is all the same, covering a vast amount of genres, and it lets people latch onto different shit. So you'll get some Sonic fans who, like we've mentioned with like Sonic.exe, who just do like the dark shit, who just really want to say, okay, Sonic is serious and we can make him creepy and cool and bloody. And even like the Archie comments kind of go into like trying to make it a bit more like it's a resistance versus the end of the world, and like you can see Sonic very basically latch onto that. Then you got the meme side of it, where it's just like, oh, Sonic was always bad. Like the IGN reviews, like just look at this. Just fucking look at it. Like, you don't need to say any more to just
look at this wholly original level design that reminds me not at all of anything Mario has ever done.
It writes its shell.
And also, hold on, I'm sorry, I gotta mention it. I fucking hate the camera in this level. You know what you need to be able to do in a racing game is see where the fuck you're going, but the camera's at such a distance, and the road just like goes up, and so you're just looking at like the road directly in front of you, but not what's coming up down the road, and it's really fucking distracting.
I do kind of want to hit real quick on a point you made, Alfie, about how cool the character designs are. So, one of the things that really brought my wife and I together was that we were in similar fandoms. She was a big Batman fan, a big Sonic fan. I'm a big Batman fan, I'm a big Sonic fan. She was a little bit more into the fandom at a younger age than I was, so she like knew a lot of people who were really into like fan fiction writing and stuff like that. She knew people back in the day who wrote Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction who had never played any of the games. Never once. They had no idea how these characters acted. They had no idea what would be in character, what would be out of character, but they knew that the designs were cool, and they just kind of wanted to play in that world. And I think the design is like definitely not to be underestimated in what people come to Sonic for. And you're absolutely right, because like when you have fan fiction writers, like what do they always do? They like take a concept and then they like make it really dark. They'll be like, oh, here's like a couple from a kid's show. What if one of them was like suddenly dying, and that's my fan fiction? Like Sonic did that to its own franchise when you got to the adventure games, and then obviously if you read the Ken Penders stuff in the Archie comics. So it's just like I mean like I feel like you phrased it so perfectly, and I just kind of wanted to add my own little anecdotes onto that, but like yeah, I mean that's exactly right.
Yeah, you kind of like the franchise does itself. You then reach the logical endpoint of that is where you get to Sonic 06, and disregarding the game itself, that storyline is fan fiction that would make some 14-year-old fan fiction writers weep with just pure, this is the gospel. Like, that ends with Sonic dead, revived by a kiss from a princess, and then he goes Super Saiyan with Trunks and Vegeta to fight all of time and the power of reality. And that was a video, and then it ends and it was all a dream. Like, that is fan fiction trope embodied in a way I've never seen any official piece of media capture something.
And they even did the fanfiction trope of AUs, right? Like you had Sonic and the Black Knight, so you had like your medieval AU. They had Sonic and the Secret Ring, so you had your Prince of Persia AU.
I don't know if that really counts, because like it's Sonic getting sucked into a book, which is just a fucking entire genre of fanfiction.
Well, yeah, anyway. Sure, that's true. Sure.
Did I ever tell you about the audio drama Rasco and I reviewed?
No.
Okay. It wasn't Sonic, so I won't spend too much time on it. But it was King Kong, and it was right when I was like getting into the production for Green Lantern Ring of Victory, and I was like, I hadn't really thought about it, but audio dramas are a pretty big place for fans to get into things and not really have limitations like fan films. So I was like, all right, what's something that could work for that? And I found King Kong audio drama. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool idea. And it was like 2 hours. I'm like, hey, it's got an actual cast list and stuff that used real actors. I bet this is actually going to be kind of legit. And I got sucked into the 2005 King Kong DVD, and now I'm right here alongside the main character, and it was so goddamn bad. And Rasco and I are just sitting there like for half an hour trying not to be too mean, and then the person that made it comments on the video is like, no, actually you guys are super nice, because this is actually really, really bad.
Oh my God.
And I made this years ago, and I hope I've evolved as a writer, but I actually do really appreciate you guys talking about
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. And also, yeah, we're in credits. The game's not over.
Oh, it's one of those.
It's just unskippable credits after the last level. But luckily, I don't have to go play the last level too many times, because there's nothing in there to unlock, which is kind of weird.
That's okay. We can just jam out to this music. So good.
Yeah, love us to be together, 'cause you're my number one.
I need you. I can't wait to unlock Tails Doll so I can talk about the curse, and I'm just so excited.
It's gonna take me a while.
know.
It's a lot of grinding.
It's okay.
It's a lot of grinding.
It's okay. That just means it'll be later at night, so it'll be a better mood to talk about it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pretty much. Yeah. These credits are mostly unskippable. I figured out after the third time of having to watch them, I can just keep mashing the X button, and then it would like shorten them.
Oh, that's such a cool. I love that.
The little end screen.
Yeah, that's cool.
We don't have those anymore, and it's a bit
They
sad.
don't. Traveler's Tales. I still like. That still blows my mind that this is Traveler's Tales. Like, what the crap?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did. So Traveler's Tales, they're obviously mostly known for the Lego games. Lego Star Wars, Lego whatever. But before that, they did a bunch of tie-in stuff. So they did like the Toy Story side-scrolling game. They did some Buzz Lightyear game that I think was based off the well, no, it wouldn't have been based off the cartoon show, but they did some Buzz Lightyear game. And then they did Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R with the help of Sonic Team, as much as Sonic Team helps something. But yeah, this is them, which is kind of crazy because pretty much all they're known for now is Lego games.
Yeah. Shortcut.
Ooh. 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 Ian, that got me going a little bit. Ooh. Well, it was. I think it was it was 2D, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Sega Saturn was insanely good at 2D sprite work and stuff. Like, 2D games that were on the Sega Saturn look really good. Especially compared to the PS1. Like, not that the PS1 era 2D games look bad, because obviously you had, like, Symphony of the Night and whatnot. But the Sega Saturn just didn't do well commercially, and its 3D just never really got up to snuff with what the PS1 could do. Not that PS1 3D has aged super well, but I mean, when you're comparing the two consoles, the PS1 definitely succeeded, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the early 3D doesn't really hold up, which is why I'm really glad that we've gotten like remasters of the Crash and Spyro trilogy.
Yeah, me too.
I've got to get those for the Switch. But Mario Maker 2 comes out, and I don't know if I'm ever going to play another video game again,
Dude,
so we'll see how that
Ian,
goes.
we talked a little bit about it on one of the videos we did on Sonic, but like a Sonic Maker would be the shit.
Yeah, okay, if there's a Sonic Maker, I'll play it till I die.
Exactly.
But,
that would be so
well,
cool.
actually, I take that back. Well, no, I'll probably play it till I die, but it might be early depending on how big of a disappointment it is.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah. I remember getting...
There actually was
Oh, God.
there was a fan project for that
What's...
a while back. It was gonna be a fan game they were making. It might have died at this point because I think it was like a year or two when it was like when Mario Maker was announced. They announced that, okay, we're going to try working on this. And they did get some gameplay shown of like trailers and stuff. I think you could probably find it online. But it looked promising.
That's cool.
The only
Yeah, I
thing with
remember
that...
seeing like a lot of people wanted to do it all at the same time, but none of them wanted to get together. From what I could tell, there are like 5 people doing Sonic Makers, and because the community is just shit, they never got together. I don't think anything ever came out of it. But Mega Maker, it was called. It was a fan game that actually did quite well.
Oh, cool.
And still has kind of a community going.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know much about Mega Man. I read the Mega Man Sonic crossover that Ian Flynn did in the Archie comics, and it was very, very cool because they turned a bunch of the Sonic cast into Robot Masters. So you had like a Metal Knuckles and like a Metal Sally Acorn, and they were all like designed as if they were Robot Masters in a Mega Man game. And it was super, super cool. But I really only know tangentially Mega Man stuff. I was never like a big fan. But I like Mega Man X, what I've played of it.
Again, it just cracks me up that you can fucking skip the loop-de-loop. That is such poor design.
God. Is this about to be Metal Knuckles versus Metal Sonic? Because that's what I'm here for. Let me grab my fucking popcorn.
Oh, I thought you were about to say lotion.
I mean,
I've got that.
I mean,
He's got
I
the
feel like
popcorn.
that goes
We've
without
got-
saying.
Like, he's gonna hold the popcorn, so obviously his hand's not free yet. He needs a little help.
Just fucking nomming on popcorn and
I didn't know I had a soulmate on the other end of the pond, but that makes me very happy. Fuck.
There you go.
Oh my god. You're just...
Geeky gentleman,
Oh,
the matchmaker
God.
for you.
Dude, you're like destroying
Come on,
him right now.
watch Sonic R and flirt.
I know.
Oh, yes.
It's not even a contest. Like, Metal Knuckles is just so broken because of the flight.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. The only character that stands a chance against him is Supersonic. And that just tells you how broken Supersonic is.
Man.
Well, like that. See, I'm just looking at that and you're saying this. I'm like, legit. Again, this is just trying to find gold in this game, which is just, it's like a trash heap with some nuggets.
Yep.
Is you could kind of make that justifiable in lore, because like Knuckles, at least when he's first introduced, is meant to kind of be this insurmountable force that Sonic and Tails just, like, he knocks the shit out of Supersonic the first time second you see him.
It's awesome.
He's the one who at the end of his playthrough in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, he fights Mecha Sonic all on his own when he's got Chaos Energy, and like Knuckles still beats the shit out of him. It's like Knuckles is meant to be stupid, but like physically he should be the strongest character. If you take that to the Robotnik extreme, where like he amps all those attributes when he creates his robot, I could kind of buy like Metal Knuckles being like this fucking unstoppable force if he was like ever thrown into another Sonic game as like a final boss or something. Like, obviously not anymore, because after Sonic Boom, no one's ever going to take Knuckles seriously again, because holy shit, that was amazing.
I fucking love Sonic Boom Knuckles so much.
No, that's like, it's one of my favorite storylines from the early days of the Archie comics, was when they roboticize Sonic, but they do it in such a way where he's able to like retain his personality so he can like spy on Eggman. But then like he starts to lose it because the roboticization effect is like really powerful. So then they can't beat this Mecha Sonic that they've created. Like no one can defeat it. And finally they're like, the only possible thing we can do is we roboticize Knuckles and have roboticized Knuckles fight him. And then Mecha Knuckles beats the living shit out of Mecha Sonic, and it's awesome. And I just, I need them to do it again. It was so good.
It's cool as shit to just see, you know, the different stuff that gets done with the characters. And you know, for all its faults, the fan base actually does have really cool ideas. Like, have you ever heard the theory that Metal Sonic is a roboticized Sonic?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, because like it works so well, given that the game where he's introduced, Sonic CD, is a game with different timelines that you're switching between, like a good future and a bad future. And I'm like, oh, that could work so well if he's... And Robotnik's never made anything half as good as Metal Sonic again. That could be so cool if he's just an alternate Sonic that got roboticized.
All of the best stuff that Robotnik makes turns on him, like Metal Sonic and Omega. Like all the strongest stuff he makes ends up either taking over and like doing its own thing, like Metal Sonic does in Sonic Heroes, or it turns against him, like Omega also does in Sonic Heroes. So I do kind of like that theory a lot.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. Am I trying to get the coins, or am I trying to do Chaos Emeralds in this run? I can't remember. I think I'm maybe just. God damn, that's ridiculous. And then like it's so bad that you just hit the invisible walls. So yeah, I'm trying so hard right now. Okay, I think I'm trying to get coins, and I believe this is the Tails doll level. So if I can get all the coins, then we'll finally get to start talking about Tails doll.
Man, every time you hit like an obstacle, Ian, it's like my mind is transported to you when you were recording this, and I can just hear you go. Like, this is a sigh-inducing game.
It is. It's so annoying. I'm just like, there's been a couple times we haven't really pointed out where I just restarted a level when I like hit a wall pretty early on in the race. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's just
like you just hit a wall and you're just forced to like just like, all right, hang on, let me just slowly get. All right, yeah, oh there we go. Yeah, I can feel that, and it's painful. Oh god.
And that's just classics. Ah, here we go. Tails doll.
Behold.
It's the strangest fucking thing. He's like this little stuffed animal with a wire sticking out his head.
And he's gonna come through your television and eat your soul.
He has such like every other character in Sonic has defined set of eyes and like those positions and stuff and like that animated. Tails doll in this has such a 1,000-eye death stare that never goes, and he can't blink because he's a doll, and therefore he'll see everything. It's like, Jesus.
Those fucking walls, man. Yeah. It's a really creepy and odd and off-putting design. Like, it's just so weird that they chose that of all things, you know? It's like, okay, well, we're in this, you know, we got a Metal Sonic, and we're gonna do a Metal Knuckles, and we're gonna do a Tails doll. Why is he a doll? It seems like he almost created himself.
It does,
you know?
yeah.
I could buy that. There's my creepypasta.
I actually really like the logic behind it. I think this is me probably making this up on the fly because it just came to me, but it's from Sonic Adventure, so maybe this is like the actual explanation is okay. So like you think of it from Robotnik's perspective. So he's got Knuckles and Sonic, obvious threats. They're obviously got attributes he'd want to turn into metal. He sees Tails and he's just kind of like, he's just a kid. He's always following Sonic. At least like he's not a threat. He's not something like, oh, he can fly, big deal. Like he's not something he registers. So I like the idea because if you start in Sonic Adventure, Tails doll's in that game as well, and he's target practice. I kind of like the idea that he just made Tails into like a fucking test dummy for the shooting range.
Maybe.
Like that's kind of fucked up. It's like Sonic breaks into his base and he just sees his best friend, a replica of him, being shot to ruins by all his robots. And he's like, Jesus, Eggman, he's 12!
Yeah. Alright, so I want to talk about something that I just realized and it really pissed me off. So this was the level that I had to keep coming back to because I missed a Chaos Emerald. Okay. But I recently, a couple minutes ago in the gameplay, I went through a door where you get the Chaos Emerald, but because I went through it during the second race with the Tails doll, I wasn't able to get the Chaos Emerald. And so I'd played through so much of the game thinking, oh yeah, I already went through that door. There was no Chaos Emerald anymore, so I've obviously collected it. And no, it's just that fuckery, man. That is some straight fuckery.
Dude, just Tails doll lying like face down like at the victory screen. And then like, yeah, just in the lineup, he's got like a zipper going down the back of him. Like that's just, so creepy. It's so wrong. I love Tails doll though.
What's weird is like the little picture of the ranking and he looks more like a teddy bear than he does like a fox. In that little thumbnail of him. Oh god, the loop-de-loops give me the queasies.
So this is one of those games, since you're unfamiliar with Tails Doll, Ruben, it's essentially like someone wrote a creepypasta about how Tails Doll is really creepy and that Sonic R, like, you know, same thing with like Ben Drowned for Majora's Mask. They're just like, no, this game is like, there's a version of Sonic R that's cursed, and if you listen to like Can You Feel the Sunshine backwards, then like fucking Tails Doll will come out your computer and kill you or some shit. It's just some like real generic creepypasta nonsense. But because of how like legitimately unsettling Tails Doll is in kind of an Annabelle-esque way, it's just really caught on. And I mean, if you search Tails Doll, you will just find nothing but like really creepy, gory, like horror fan art. Like that's all you'll find.
Sounds
yeah,
lovely.
It's great. I love it.
I have got an embarrassing story related to that. And okay, so it was in my, I think it was like 7 or 8, something like that age, and I was in the heat of my Sonic fandom, absolutely adoring everything Sonic, scouring YouTube and being like amazed at all the freaking Nazo Sonic fan like animation where it's like Dragon Ball Z but with Sonic. I was like, oh my god,
I've got to do a review of that eventually.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I go through all of those and I end up on one like Sonic animation thing. You could call it animation. It's like stick figures that move their hands, but the art's quite nice. I can't remember what it is, it's in my head. And it's like a series of just like them living their lives. And one episode, I think it was like a Halloween episode, there's like a thing where they just keep talking about the Tails Doll, and they keep talking about the Tails Doll, and they never talk about the Tails Doll. And as for context for this, when I was watching this, I was like in my living room. I was on an old English kind of frail chair. Like it was just a single chair, and it hadn't got like a back either. It was just like the rim of the chair. And I was watching on the laptop, on the screen. And it just gets to the end of the thing, and I'm just like, yay, Sonic! And it's like really great. And then there's like a static on the screen. And it kind of freaked me out a bit because I was like, oh, I've got an old laptop, maybe it's fucking me up. And then the Tails Doll jump scares you. I fall back out of my chair that has no back, hit my neck on the rim of the chair, and I'm just left, and I can't look up because I've fallen down, but the video's still playing, and all I hear is, I will eat your soul. And I'm just crying on the floor, thinking I've just killed myself because something's gonna come and eat my soul. Nothing happened, I think. I'm still kind of, whenever I close the light, I kind of wait a second before, because he might come and get me, but like, it's one of those things that fucks you up at a young age, that the Sonic fandom was probably made by someone not that much older than me.
Oh god, that's hilarious.
Alright, so here's another example of the invisible walls being such bullshit because of this fucking tight-ass corner that no character can navigate.
Yeah, you should just be able to glide over it, but...
Yeah, no. You hit an invisible wall.
That's pretty dumb.
What timestamp are you guys at? Because my whole computer crashed, so I'm gonna have to try to get back at where you guys are.
We're at 102.55, right,
Yep.
guys?
Okay.
All right.
102. Well, now we're at 103, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just be like a few seconds behind.
Alright, yeah. Get caught up whenever you can. You're not missing much. It's painful, but you're not missing much.
Not missing much, Ian. You're fucking destroying. I was telling you to get your game up, and I'm proud of you because like you've been in a good run now.
I am a grinder when it comes to video games.
Context.
You know what? No, I'm gonna own that one. I'm a grinder. I have the app. I don't fucking know. No, I don't have a grinder, people. I'm a married man. I'm happy.
I thought I was happy until I met Alfie today, and now I'm kind of.
Yeah, you're gonna have to leave Carly and move across the.
Yeah,
pond.
now I'm.
Convince Alfie to
Now
leave
I'm
Sarah.
Now I'm questioning some things. But no,
All I'm talking about, guys, is Sonic movie. Watch it. Midnight orgy.
I mean,
Nothing gets you quite as hot as heavy as the live-action Sonic movie and them thighs.
oh,
Dem thighs. He's got such weird muscular
so
thighs.
Ian, let me ask you: are you disappointed that they're like delaying the movie and redoing the design? Does that make you sad?
No, because it's Sega, and so that is like the most Sega
That's
move they
so
could've
true.
made, right? Like it's going to be worse, not better. That's the thing. Like I'm secretly hoping that like he just randomly goes into a T pose, just at one point in the movie, just like one frame of the new CG model for Sonic T posing.
That'd be so good.
Like literally anything like that would be amazing.
I will bet actual money that he dabs at some point in this movie. I will. I think I do not put it past them because like this is the type of movie that I kind of thought we were done making years ago. This like this like kids movie that's also going to try to appeal like you guys know what I mean. Like this is just the type of movie.
Yeah.
Like kind of like Alvin and the
Invisible wall.
Chipmunks, kind of that kind of.
Invisible wall.
Yeah.
This pissed me off so much. Because you can glide over the rest, but they put an invisible wall right there.
I will say though, I think that's hilarious. Like when you're underwater, it's just like a classic like old cartoon type effect of just like, oh, I'm under the water, got a little like bubble floating above me, and then whoop, come up. It's good stuff. But yeah, no, this is the type of movie I thought we were done making a long time ago, but I guess we're not. So I guess I'm gonna have to see it now. So great.
I mean, you gotta, like, how could you not go see a midnight showing of midnight? How could you not?
I think Jim Carrey will at least be entertaining being Jim Carrey.
I hear he really threw his back out carrying
No, oh my
the
god,
movie.
look, like Tails doll just falls to the ground. Like everyone else is just like, oh yeah, and then Tails doll just like flops on the ground. I'm sorry, that joke was funny. I'm sorry. That was good. Did you see like he was at like some awards show or whatever, and like someone like the host asked him like, hey, what have you been doing? He's like, oh, I just finished a movie, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the host is just like, oh great, well I can't wait to see you next year. I'm sure you'll get nominated for something. I forget what award show it was, but it was hilarious.
Oh my god! I'm sure it'll get nominated for
no, it's
something.
gonna be.
It might get a Razzie.
I'm sure it will, but it's like okay, so like in the trailer, there's like, and I know this is kind of a digression, but whatever. In the trailer, there's like the last shot is him looking like way more like an actual like typical Robotnik, and I promise you that's also going to be like the last shot of the movie as well. It's going to be just like the Super Mario movie or just like all these video games where it's like at the end of the movie we're now going to tease you with the thing that you kind of actually would have wanted to see. Like it's just like, man, I thought we were done with this. I thought we all decided that we could do slightly better with our like IPs, but I guess we just can't. Ugh.
No, of course not.
I actually really like the Mario movie. I like unironically, because I grew up watching that movie, and so like I didn't play Mario games until I was in high school, but that movie has been part of my life for as long as I can remember.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just I have a certain, and I'm sure Ian will attest to this. There's movies that I have in my life that I quite like that no one else does. And that one is one. But like I don't remember the first time I watched it, but yeah, I won't say it's a good movie, but I quite like it.
I never begrudge anyone for that. I mean, you're talking to the guy who still like defends the stories of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 as having like legitimately kind of cool ideas in there. So like I never begrudge anyone for liking something that generally is considered horrible, because man, we all get attached to different stuff when we're young, and it just fucking shapes how we look at everything.
And I think that's kind of like just Sonic as a whole, right? Is just there's this irrational love for Sonic, even though it's so just objectively not good throughout most of its history.
So if you guys were going to do a Sonic movie, if they gave you the keys to the kingdom, what would you guys do?
Oh my god. Can I
Oh,
go first? Because
Jesus.
I've got like an actual
Yeah, Ian's
pitch.
actually got like a legit thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got, like,
go.
a legit
I've not
pitch,
heard
and
this.
I'm sure-
Go for it.
Okay. Alright. So first of all, no one's gonna be an animal, and I'm gonna immediately alienate like 90% of the fan base. Okay? It's gonna be set in kind of like a dystopian future.
Sure.
Alright? Where Robotnik is an evil capitalist who's tearing down what remains of the wildlife. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
And all the Sonic family characters are gonna be teenagers who are really into parkour and basically just have for sodas, all right? All right, hear me out, because it gets better. So...
I'm sorry, continue.
So, like, Tails is a, like, kid with, like, orange hair, and he wears, like, 2 foxtails on his belt, and, like, Sonic is a kid, he's just always got, like, a blue hoodie with, like, some spikes on the back of it. Not, like super big, but just, like, little, cool little, like, frill spikes kind of thing. And Knuckles is, like, a black dude who's, like, also into boxing, and he's got dreads. Yeah, you see, it's got an aesthetic.
I like that.
Okay? Alright. So anyway, their whole movie, they're just, they decide that they all don't like Robotnik because all their parents, like, work for his company and shit. And so they decide, and they also, like, just hate that they can't go anywhere outside the city anymore. It's just, like, this constant, you know, industrialized wasteland kind of thing. So there's all these parkour scenes where they're, like, running through the city, and, like, there's like, traffic lights and signals and stuff, but because it's a future and weirdness, it gets to kind of look like some of the hazards and stuff, like rings mean go kind of thing. And so, like, you constantly see them passing rings, just to get that visual aesthetic down. And again, no one would want it but me. And then really the most important thing here is they're, like, constantly running through, doing cool parkour tricks through Robotnik's factories, tearing shit up. And then in the climax of the movie, the Sonic character is going to be running through a factory, and he's got to get away from the Badniks, which is Robotnik's private police force with robot upgrades.
Yes.
And the only way out is to run through some machinery that is lying in the formation of a loop-de-loop. And so he has to run through a loop-de-loop to escape. And that's the big climactic moment of the movie.
Awesome. I hate that I kind of love that. That's like the best human AU fanfic idea ever, but make it into a movie that would come out in like the late 90s, just real parkour heavy. I love it.
Yeah, totally. So here's Super Sonic, who is just literally impossible to control because he's too goddamn fast. But that's okay because he's so goddamn fast that he can just trounce the other characters. Like, it's not even fair. I'm so far behind, and I'm pretty sure I've finished this race in first. Spoiler alert.
Oh my god, that Sonic bounce pad sound effect just does things to me. It makes me feel like a child again.
The bounce or the jump?
Both, but specifically the bounce pad sounded like ba-ding. Like, I love it. It's so good. God.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of accurate to the games, right? I mean, like, if you unlock Super Sonic in the 2D games, he's so fast and powerful. He's actually a little unwieldy. I mean, unwieldy. So, I mean, yeah, this is, oh my god, you're already in third now. Oh, now you're in fourth, but...
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, I tried playing against Super Sonic on the Emerald Road, and that course is just designed to play as Super Sonic. So if you're playing as anyone else and Super Sonic's in the game, it's fucking worthless. I will say, I think Super Sonic is cool that he's unlockable in the game and everything. I think it's really unfair that he's just, you start the race as him. I think he should still work the way Super Sonic works in the regular games, where he's ring dependent, you know? I think that's a really good limitation, and that could just be like the extra bonus that you get for playing as Sonic. Yeah, so I did still win the race, And now the final unlockable character,
Egg Robo.
which is the Egg Robo. Yeah, it's so fucking forgettable. Like literally, I forgot that he was a character in this game, and I was like, wait, I thought I unlocked everyone. Yeah, I got Metal Knuckles, Tails Doll, Metal Sonic. Who the fuck is left?
I love that the like sphinxes at the beginning of the race both have like Knuckles-looking heads on them, because that warms my like Sonic lore-loving heart because of how much the like ancient Echidna people are based on like Aztecs and Mayans and like a little bit of Egyptianness going on in there. So that's beautiful and I love it. Oh my God. You're just destroying this.
Yeah.
Alfie, what would you do for a Sonic movie?
Oh no, did we lose Alfie again?
Oh, I see his face.
Ruben, I never asked if you were able to catch back up.
I'm at an hour 14:50 right now.
You're about 10 seconds behind. Okay.
Okay.
And now Alfie's back, but we're hearing the music and stuff come through his speakers. We'll give Alfie a chance to get caught up. Matt, what would you do with a Sonic movie?
See, it's hard for me because like I'm so deep in it that like my initial gut reaction is just like, all right, look, take one of the adventure games, take the concept of it, tighten up the script to the point where it's actually decent, and then do an animated movie using the same animation style from like the opening cutscene of like Sonic Unleashed, like that really polished, cool-looking CG animation. But at the same time, even if you had a better script, I'm not sure the world at large is ready to accept things like the ancient Echidna people and stuff like that. So I would probably want to do something simple. Like my gut reaction would always be just like, look, hire Ian Flynn, do something that's CG. I don't really have a pitch per se because I'm just too close to it and not a good enough writer. But yeah, I would definitely I would do honestly a pretty safe but fun CG movie. Somewhat unrealistically, I would really like to do a movie with the same animation style of the Sonic anime movie with Sonic and Metal Sonic, the OVA. I think I would love to see another feature-length film done in that style, but I don't know what I would do story-wise, to be honest with you, especially after your pitch. I feel like anything I pitch is just going to be... I can't follow that up.
Yeah, I really shouldn't have gone first, but I'm so committed to that. I've had that pitch since like 2012, man. Yeah, I think it's like literally anything that the movie comes out with is not going to be as good as that, and we all know it.
The biggest thing for me is like, Sonic at the end of the day, I feel like it works best when you keep it simple and fun, and like I would just want to do I could even maybe adapt like something from the Archie comics and bring in like there are a lot of really cool villains that are only in the Archie comics.
You nailed
like
it.
Mogul and Ixis Nagus, but like I don't even think Sega fully has the rights to those because of a big legal battle with the writer who created them. So I mean, like it's really hard for me to like sit here and be like I don't decide what I would do because I'm so close to it that I would just kind of want to like fanboy all over the page and just put all like my favorite lore bits in there, but most of the stuff I come to Sonic for is probably a little like I just feel like general audiences would not be there for it. But I would definitely not do any like Sonic is now in the real world and they have to deal with that like in this movie and in Sonic X. Like I would never do it just takes place in some world where all these characters live, and there you go.
Yeah, I've still never seen Sonic X. I remember like watching one episode at some point.
So like the first couple seasons, like the first season is just like Sonic and friends show up on Earth and they have to deal with that, and then the second season is also that, but everyone's used to them being there and they retell the stories of the adventure games, so like whatever. The third season's actually kind of cool because they go back to their home world. So the third season takes place entirely away from Earth, and it actually mostly takes place in space, and they are fighting a race of like giant robot people who kind of look like Gundams, and they're called like the Metarex, and it's just the whole third season is literally the Sonic gang in a spaceship going to different planets and fighting giant robots. Like that is the entirety
Okay.
Yes, and then Tails wants to fuck a tree. That's the entirety of the third season, and I kind of love it. And the Chaotix get some fun bits, who I just adore the Chaotix. So third season of Sonic X, not horrible if you go into it with the right expectations. The first 2 seasons are painful.
And Tails to fuck a tree.
All right. Just real quick, before we ask Alfie what his movie is going to be, I want to just say, so I beat the game, I 100%ed it, but now I'm just going to play as every character, and Tails literally pissed me off because he controls for shit, but like, everyone turn up the volume on your speakers for a sec. You can hear the goddamn... I know, how... goddamn distracting is that?
Especially when I'm trying to hear this song.
I know, right? It's so goddamn ridiculous. The audio design on Tails was terrible here. Oh, anyway.
I had my tab muted, so I was like, I don't hear anything. What are you hearing? And now I realized, that is distracting.
This particular Tails sound is like when like fucking a Looney Tunes character like goes to someone's lips and it's like that's what it sounds like, just constantly. Just oh my god.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like the balloon challenge, and I could not for the life of me figure this out. I was like looking for balloons in this level, and I found 2, and then I went everywhere else, and I could find no more balloons because the gates are locked because there's no rings when you play in this mode, and yeah, I couldn't find any more balloons.
I honestly
anywhere.
I didn't know this game even had like challenge modes, because I played this game a couple times as a kid and then like never really touched it again.
Yeah. That one pissed me off because the color of the balloon blended in with the bridge, which just seems like really poor design, I gotta tell you. So I'm just like, racing games where it's really fun to go around and just slowly look for something.
Here's a question. Are all Sonic games... This may be a really dumb question. Are all Sonic games racing games?
Most are not.
Nah, not at all.
Really?
They've really never done it quite right.
I figured most of them would be racing, or at least... I just assumed that would be the majority of them.
Most of them are like platformers that just have an emphasis on going fast. So you're not really ever racing against other people, but it's just like the way the games are built, like part of the fun is how fast can you get this level like beaten. And it's there's a counterintuitiveness to old school Sonic, which is the level design. Like unlike a Mario game, Sonic levels generally had a lot more like pathways you could traverse the level through, and so there's this kind of counterintuitiveness of once you've decided, hey, I'm gonna get really good at classic Sonic, you almost kind of need to slow down and explore the levels and figure out what the like optimum route is, and then it just becomes how fast can you then do that route. So it's kind of weird, but that's most of them are not racing games, but the ones that are racing games, some of them are good, like the Sega and Sonic All-Stars Racing, and some of them are weird, like this one in Sonic Riders.
Yeah, Sonic Riders does have the aesthetic just down to a T, though, you know?
Sonic Riders is super, like, I love the way they handle cutscenes, because, like, the characters, like, do these really exaggerated, like, Looney Tunes expressions. It's just really fun. My wife is, like, weirdly really good at Sonic Riders. Because, like, she and her friend were both into Sonic when they were kids, and they would, like, just play that game over and over again until they got really good at it. And that game is kind of not the most well-designed thing. It's kind of hard to get good at.
It's one of those things where you kind of touched on something, Ruben, which I do think is interesting to talk about, as you see this and you're like, oh yeah, you probably assume a lot of Sonic games are just kind of blast to the finish. And it didn't start out that way, but just looking at this, I can kind of... Because the latest Sonic games in the main series, from something Sonic Unleashed onwards, are that where they might as well be racing games in all but name. Something like Sonic Generations is really good, but it does completely not completely, but the whole winding pathways thing that Matt mentioned of like exploring different routes, it's in there, but it's even less the focus because you literally have like a boost button and you can only move in one real straight path. Like this game, there is no... Even the turning is just as bad.
See, I actually disagree with you on Generations. See, no, I really disagree with you on Generations. The multiple paths in Generations, it might not be as winding and intertwined, but I don't know, man. There's some crazy skipped paths, and like, the main criticism Generations and a lot of those games get is like, oh, it's boost to win, just hold down the boost button the whole game and you'll beat every level with an S rank. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but you're not going to get your best times if you do that. Like, if you're just boosting without paying any attention, you will take the longest route. And that's the kind of thing that I tend to think about.
I agree with that. There's a legit, like, almost not really like a competitive scene like there is with like Smash or something like that, but there is kind of this like people who are really into those games like vying for the best times. And I think Generations is the boost formula at its best, and then I think Sonic Forces is the boost formula at its like most lazy. Like I think the level design in Sonic Forces is like straight up lazy and does not have the same level of crazy skips and multiple pathways that you get in Sonic Generations.
No, I totally agree with that.
Right. And I was more just I wanted to generalize a little bit just to kind of emphasize the racing formula. They lean towards more than say the adventure games, but you are definitely right. In Generations is the most example of there are legit different areas. Like some levels have like really good examples
you're
of just
right, Alfie,
going
because
different
using
ways.
the boost formula, the spin dash works almost like the drifting mechanic in like Mario Kart, right? Because you can like spin dash and use that to drift around corners. And so like if you took that and then applied it to a racing game, like you'd still have your drifting like you do in Crash Team Racing and Mario Kart, but instead of like drifting in a car, you're like doing spin dashes. It does very much control kind of like a racing game, just on a platforming level as opposed to a racetrack.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
all you have to do is get the rival battles
Yeah,
and make that a racing game.
I'm just waiting for someone to really do a fucking, like, crazy ground-up mod on Sonic Generations, because there's so many of them, and just, you know, say, fuck it, let's turn it into a two-player racing game. You know how cool that would be?
Dude, I love that Amy's car just then turned into, like, a hover car when she went over water. That's, like, Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed 20 years earlier.
I know, right?
Legit.
Like, that's the thing about Amy. You know, kind of the thing that put this game on our radar again was Game Grumps recently played it.
Oh, God.
And it was so funny to watch Aaron and Dan play because Aaron started using Amy and he's like, oh my god, she's the only one that actually controls well because she is the one. She's definitely the slowest character in the game, but she's got the most handling. And that's... You know, that's unfortunately an aspect where it's like, okay, the brokenness is actually kind of cheating itself, but whatever. But yeah, so she's got, and she's got like a special little thing. If you look up by the time, there's like a tire that's blinking right now. That's her special move. Is she's got like a nitrous button, I guess. She's got that NOS.
I love her car though. Is that like a? What is it?
Yeah. Again, if you want to turn up the volume, you can hear the little
puttering
crank of the engine. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. So, I guess I'll bring this up now. I think the curse of the Tails doll is real because I lost all my audio before my computer crashed.
Oh
no.
Shit! For real?
Yeah. I tried recovering it, like, on Audacity. When I reopened it, it was like, do you want to recover this file? And I said, yes! And then it was like, nope, can't do it. And so, yeah.
Let's Plays are cursed, man. Every time.
The Tails doll is.
Yeah, no matter what you do, Let's Plays are always fucking cursed.
Well, that sucks.
And your computer crashed like an hour in, didn't it?
Yeah. I've got, right now, my audio is on 29 minutes is when I started recording this one, so I guess, yeah, about an hour in is when it crashed, yeah.
That sucks.
Well, good night, everybody.
That's just very unfortunate. Yeah, right? I mean, fuck it, we're already here. We might as well finish. It's... Ruben hasn't talked as much compared to everyone else. So,
Yeah,
Why don't... No, what we need to do here is you need to put up subtitles of you can make Ruben say whatever you want now, and we'll be responding.
All you gotta do is anytime like there's a pause because like none of us are talking because we're listening to Ruben. Anytime that happens, just put up a frame of the Tails doll. Just Tails doll just staring at you for while Ruben is supposed to be talking.
oh, man.
Tails doll
Ruben
says,
just get like a bunch of X-Men quotes.
Yeah.
We'll just use them to fill the blank space.
Oh, man. I mean, that's unfortunate, but I guess we'll just deal with it. It's fine. This was done more just be fun. But yes, Let's Plays are cursed. Alfie dropped out of the call. Alfie, are you gonna tell me your audio stopped recording as well?
No. There is a little bit where it didn't stop, but it's like my mic paused when the calls went. But I was just planning on, after we've finished this, just moving that separate track to the time difference of how long this video is, and it will match up.
Yeah, or if you don't want to do that, I can probably get it together somehow or other. It's so ridiculous. Let's Plays are cursed, man. You figure with like how big an industry Let's Playing has become, that there'd just be a better way to do it and make sure that nothing crashes. But like, goddamn, if it didn't take me like a good hour to get everything set up with the damn Elgato for this.
Yeah, I use the old Elgato Game Capture HD, and that thing gives me no end of trouble sometimes.
Yeah. No, I did like I was trying to Let's Play a couple years back, and it was like we were doing a full 100% run through Predator Concrete Jungle.
Yes.
And yeah, and I got 4 hours into that game, and it apparently, and it like the capture device I had at the time told me it was capturing the whole time, and I went to go look at my file, and it captured the PS2 intro, and then stopped. And it was just like 2 hours of nothing, like just black video and a little flat line.
I have 3 hours of nothing from trying to record Batman Begins, the video game footage. So fun times.
Yep.
That's where you just say like, oh wow, this is incredible what I'm seeing right now on the screen, and it's just blackness.
Can I just say real quick here, to bring us back to Sonic and this game ever so slightly. I really like Eggman. Like my Skype profile picture is Eggman, as is like my Discord profile. Like I really like Eggman a lot, and I love his classic design, and I also love his like modern design with like the jacket. And I love his little pod thing that he's driving in here, and I think it's funny that this thing can still go off of like bounce pads even though it's not actually contacting the ground.
Yeah, I like that Eggman's special is the water doesn't slow him down at all. I think that's kind of a cool little dynamic.
So he's supposed to be bouncing right now?
No, like whenever he hits like a bounce pad or something, or like right there when he hit the boost pad, he's not touching the ground though, so it doesn't make any sense. And I'm really proud of myself.
Dang.
I won my first time with Eggman.
So good.
You harness the power.
Yep.
I love Eggman so much. He's the best.
Oh yeah, he's
Alfie. Alfie, we danced around it. What would your Sonic movie be?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about this for a while you two were talking, and I kind of just settled on like probably the best way to do it would be to get some kind of feature length, maybe even just like 90-minute version of the Sonic Mania shorts.
Oh, yeah, that could be interesting.
That kind of, because I feel like, okay, if you're gonna make Sonic a movie, you want to make it something that people can watch who have never played a Sonic game and they'll still get it. And that's what kind of makes me not want to go with the Archie comics,
exactly,
because Jesus Christ, the amount of lore in those things is just like, I think it's just
That's
so
my own
unnecessary.
personal hang up. Like the Archie comics and now the IDW comics, they, even when they're good, are still written for people who are already fans of this material. And so you can't really bring that forward to a general audience as much as I would love it. You just can't do it.
Which I feel like the thing you can really get is he has that appeal. He's a very simple character with a very clear design, with very simple goals against a very simple threat in a very exciting, visually pleasing world. It's just like an animated movie of that. You get enough talent on it, you wouldn't even need to really give it voice acting. You could just kind of make it like a spectacle, like enjoyment, character acting kind of thing. It's like those Sonic Mania shorts don't have voice acting, but you get everything you need to know from those characters, and you get their personalities just from how they move, how they interact, and the humor in that. And I feel like you could do something like that where, if I were going to handle it as like, okay, this is Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, I kind of want to make it Sonic's movie, because I feel like as a film protagonist, he's kind of bare, just in terms of, by the definition, he kind of doesn't have anything that can stop him or any hang-ups. I think the best way to introduce him would be to kind of just make it Tails' movie, and either you do like a straight kind of adaptation of Sonic 2's plot where they meet for the first time and like Tails is following behind him and you get introduced to Sonic's world and his threat through Tails, and the arc of the movie with Tails be learning how to confidence himself, maybe culminate it in like he learns to fly and he helps defeat Eggman at the end. You get a supersonic scene. Like, I think that's be very good as a very sweet, very accessible, could be a very like classic like animated movie. Like, I think that writes itself quite
So
easily.
like a Batman through the eyes of Robin type situation.
Yeah, or even just like Into the Spider-Verse with how that did with introducing Miles and all of that to the world, is because people know Sonic. Everyone knows Sonic, but they don't know Sonic, if you get what I mean. They don't know the world, but they know the character. And I feel like that's where you take the advantage. Okay, we get a separate character and be their surrogate as we watch this iconic character. And I think you could do that very easily. You could make a whole spin-off thing. It wouldn't even have to be a feature length. You could make it direct to DVD, or you can do that these days.
I just love that Tails doll just fucking phased through the ground, and the way he just fucking swings back and forth right now as he quote unquote runs, just floats. It's so damn creepy.
That's how he that's how he floats when he's on his way to your bedroom at night. Just doop a doop a doo. Oh God.
So I know like nothing about the Tails doll. So what I'm gathering is it's like a ghost has like grabbed the head of this lifeless doll and is just dragging it through this world. Is that about the size of it here?
Your guess is as good as mine.
At least now it's like moving its arms.
Yeah.
But earlier, like you said, it was just like laying lifeless on the ground. Or
yeah. I mean, I'm just upset that we didn't get like a metal Amy. That would have been cool.
That would have been super cool.
Fucking Egg Robo can go fuck off. Metal Amy.
Yeah, that's what that's
Yeah.
I would really love a new attempt at this where like you have Shadow and you have you could introduce new characters like Metal Amy, and you'd have like Rouge, and you'd have like the Babylon Rogues and like all these people.
And you can get Silver in there.
I adore Silver so much, so much. Because Trunks is my
Dream of Absolution.
Trunks is my favorite. Yes, Trunks is my favorite DBZ character. My wife and I used to listen to Dreams of Absolution like all the time back when in college. Yes, good stuff.
this is we've watched this level 3 or 4 times now. Can I just say how unsettling the ground here looks like reptilian skin, like up close, like you're riding on a giant snake's back or something. It's just really kind of gross to me.
It's Pride Month snake. Though.
Oh yeah.
Does gay pride snake bother you, Ruben? I wonder why. Is it because it's gay, Ruben?
I've painted myself into a corner here.
So good.
You could say these guys are just walking all over Pride Month snakes, so you could say they're the bad guys here.
Yeah. Don't you both sides this shit, Ruben. Oh man.
You mentioned this was kind of like Rainbow Road earlier. I wouldn't have even thought of Rainbow Road if you hadn't said anything.
I mean, it's a giant road that's like glowing with all the colors of the rainbow. Really, you wouldn't have come up with that?
That's true.
Ruven, mass introduction.
I should also point out I really hate Rainbow Road. Like I don't know what the popular opinion is, but and I'm not a gamer. Like I've casually played Mario Kart before, but anytime I do, I hated Rainbow Road just because there's no walls, so it's so much more difficult, and I'm already terrible at that game anyway. So this to me looks a little easier than Rainbow Road, and also the snakeskin road makes it like I said, you know, if it wasn't for the rainbow lights here, it wouldn't remind me of Rainbow Road that much.
I think that's fair. I mean, but like again, it's in space. It's glowing with all the colors.
Yeah, I was about
of the
to
rainbow.
say that. I'm like, we saw Saturn and like Earth. I've never noticed that this just is legit in space. Huh.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well.
God, that boost. That's unsettling. Wow. I must have blinked when I played that, because God, I didn't notice that the first time.
Egg Robo, really boring design, but he's puttering his way through. He's making it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you could do it now, and it could be what's the one that's always on like Team Dark?
Omega.
Yeah, Omega could be the power character.
I love Omega a lot. He's delightful. He's doing this little clap. Yeah, Tails doll is just lying face down on the ground, unmoving. Like, it's just so creepy.
It is. It's the definition of creepy. But like, look at that number 2 that was floating there. It looks like a fucking giant balloon that you buy at like a graduation party.
I was thinking that, yeah, like a party city. The whole time we've been watching it, I thought that was what they were going for.
No. You see,
know, man.
they again deadlines. So one of the guys at the office had like a child was turning 2, so they just took a photo and they put the texture in the game of that birthday.
My God.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just crazy, just like how. Oh, look, it's all in 3D. And like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that you need to be doing everything like this. You gotta learn to cut corners still, and so much of it's just clearly experimentation without really knowing what they were doing.
That's what always worries me about like games. Whenever a game comes out, like at the advent of some new technology, they're just like, oh, we can do this now, so we should. I'm like, that's gonna look terrible like within 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's still awkward when you play, like, the first Uncharted, and it's like, oh, Nathan Drake is walking across this log. Quick, do that thing with the PS3 controller that no one remembers you can do.
Yep. Exactly. That's what, like, I was playing Gravity Rush 2 earlier today, and I had to turn off the, like, gyroscope thing, because I was just like, this is annoying as hell.
Though, you know, to be fair, a great game that took advantage of that thing with the PS3 controller that no one remembers you could do is Super Rub-a-Dub. If anyone still has a PS3, go buy Super Rub-a-Dub. It's $5 probably, still on the PS Store, and it's a treat. It's like a Wii game, but on the PS3. It's great.
So can I ask you a question, Ian and Alfie and Ruben, if you want to respond to this? Similar to the Sonic movie, what would be your pitch for like a Sonic game, but it has to be like a spin-off? Like, it can't be like just a main series like platformer. It's got to be like I always thought it would be really cool to get a 2D pixel art Marvel vs. Capcom style Sonic fighting game with all the like expanded characters from all the various games, like the adventure games and stuff. I just think that would be super neato. Is there like a spin-off type Sonic game that you've always wanted to see?
So are we talking spin-off in the sense that it has to be something that's a different genre, or can it still be like a platformer with a different character?
I mean, I guess it could be. I was thinking more like it can't be a platform. Like, it can't be like a 3D... Like Tails Adventure is like a Metroidvania game, and like this is obviously a racing game. So I was thinking something like that. But I mean, if you got a good idea, go for it.
Because my idea for that would be Shadow the Hedgehog prequel game set in the Space Colony arc as a Metroidvania.
Yes!
With time stop kind chaos control teleportation like puzzle gimmicks where you have to stop time at certain places to move stuff, to activate doors, or use your chaos powers and like level up system as Shadow gets better with his different things. And like I think that would be very cool. That would be my pick.
There's the proper 100% end screen.
Alfie, that made me so. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That made me so just very erect. I love that.
You know I feel bad though because Ian went through all that trouble and you get the reaction. Oh, that's cool. I say 2-minute pitch or shout out. You made me erect.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to say, Ian? Congratulations, you 100%ed a real garbage racing game. I'm very hard.
I want you at
now.
least a pre-com.
Okay, fair.
Oh man. No, I mean for my answer to your question, it's Sonic R2. This time it actually works.
And that's the title.
That's my pitch for a Sonic game. It's like, oh yeah, these Sonic racing games where he's in a car have been pretty good. Yeah, let's just make that work, but with the characters running, because here's the thing. There aren't many racing games where characters do that. Where there's 1 billion kart racers. Use the thing that makes your game stand out. God damn it! It's like when YouTube tells me, "Hey, listen to these pro tips for how to make really attractive thumbnails." You mean to make my thumbnails look like every other thumbnail on YouTube to make them stand out?
I mean, that's.
I swear to God, I am done with red arrows and circled characters.
I had to do it once. Everyone has to do it once because it's just so funny to do.
I did it once. I did it once, and I was done with it. I did it with the Thanos becomes the Punisher thing, which was an amazing scene in a comic book. But yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What would your Sonic game be, Ruben? I'm curious.
It's the ultimate racing game. So you have Sonic versus all the fastest people ever. So Usain Bolt is in it. The Flash, Quicksilver. I can't think of any other fast people, but you have to just the fast people. Roadrunner, yeah. And it's like each of them comes from a separate universe, and it's like you guys have to race or your universe will die. And it just gets real grim there at the end, but it's really fun for like 90%
it's almost
of the
like
game.
It's like Twisted Metal, almost like bring everyone together and have horrible fates for all the people who lose.
Crisis on Infinite Fast.
Oh my god. So good.
All right. How about you, Matt? What would your dream Sonic game be?
Like I said, I would really like to see a 2D pixel art fighter that uses all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So you get Rouge, Shadow, the Chaotix, maybe even the Hooligans. Get Bean and Fang the Sniper and all those people. Kind of done in a Marvel vs. Capcom or Dragon Ball Fighters type situation, because it blows my mind that there's not been another attempt at a Sonic fighting game, because at this point Sonic has a big enough roster that I think you could make a really fun fighting game. So that's something I would like to see. Outside of that,
you know what else is on the Sonic Gems collection?
Sonic the
Matt?
Fighters.
Sonic the Fighters.
I would also like to see. I'm not even kidding. I want a Tomb Raider style puzzle dungeon delving exploration game with Knuckles, where he's going off and doing Indiana Jones adventures and doing treasure hunting, and it's Tomb Raider style puzzle solving and stuff like that. I think that would be super cool.
And I'd only buy it if, just like Sonic R, the soundtrack was completely unfitting rap music.
Yeah, you get Ghost, you get remixes of Ghost Pumpkin Soup and all that stuff, because he's Knuckles and he don't chuckle.
Well, that was it, folks. That was the end of it. Sorry about the technical difficulty side of things with Ruben. Hopefully the episode's still watchable. I don't know. I had fun doing it, so I'm going to post it anyway. Everyone, seriously, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Comics Kid 2099.
I'm the Sonic Erotica Lover.
Yeah, I waited him out. I'm the Geek for Fun.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be playing games. Bye.